Brace yourselves, people, because this is a Charlie flashback. Driveshaft is just starting to take off, but Charlie, as a devout Christian, decides he has to quit because of the hedonistic lifestyle that comes with it, which is a bit odd since he's already been in some pretty hot orgies. And the band getting a contract is enough to make him completely go back on that decision with a token protest that he and his brother Liam will stop if it goes too far. They both have to know that means nothing. We hear the actual song, you all, everybody, and to no one's surprise, it's stupid. I do really wonder, is it deliberately this bad, or are we actually supposed to think it's good? It's really hard to tell, and as far as I know, there's been no official word on it. Liam becomes more and more of a jerk and starts taking brown sugar backstage, and you've got to love this insanely overdramatic door slam. Eventually, Charlie calls in that promise, but Liam refuses. Who could have seen that coming? He says Charlie will be nothing if he quits on his own, which makes no sense at all. It's already well established that Charlie's the only one who can write songs. They're bad songs, but they're still something. If he quits, Liam will be just as screwed. And even worse, this is what gets Charlie into heroin. I know the writers had a tricky job here. It's not easy to show someone becoming a drug addict and keeping them sympathetic. But I have to think they could have done better than this. Then we suddenly jump to Charlie visiting Liam in Australia. Liam's long clean, having been scared straight by missing the birth of his daughter, and now he's screwing Charlie over again the opposite way by refusing to start Driveshaft again after Charlie gets them a hot new gig. Charlie accuses Liam of making him a junkie, which, like I explained, he didn't, and heads off to the plane that'll crash. Jack and Kate have a conversation that's pretty much just going over the whole phony conflict from the last episode again. They were really proud of this crap idea, weren't they? Charlie gets chased by a boar and leads it into a trap lock set. Okay, Charlie is officially his bitch, and I'm fine with that. Charlie demands his brown sugar back, so Locke decides to screw with him some more, saying that he'll give them back if Charlie asks 2 more times. Dance, puppet, dance. Saeed has finished his whatever they are and assigns Kate and Boone to position 2 of them. The power cells won't last long, so they all need to turn them on at the same time to locate the French signal. But fortunately, someone on the plane was smuggling bottle rockets. I really don't get this. Is Australia really renowned for high-quality fireworks or something? Why not just buy them in America? That's what I do, and there's never been a problem. Kate also has to ask Sawyer for a battery to power the transceiver.
I get it now. You don't want off this island because there's nothing for you to go back for. Nobody you miss. No one misses you.
Oh, are you feeling sorry for me?
I don't feel sorry for you. I pity you.
That's kind of the same thing. That's like me saying I'm not angry at the show, I'm pissed. Back at the caves, Charlie continues being set up as someone we should sympathize with, as he offers to help carry supplies, with Jack not telling him that one of the suitcases has a broken zipper until he's already made a fool of himself. Well, at least I can easily buy Jack being that much of a dick. And he continues, telling Charlie they don't need him in the most condescending manner possible.
Hey, dude, this yours?
Oh, yeah. Probably wondering because I play bass in Driveshaft. I wrote a bunch of tunes on that. You all, everybody?
Shut up, Charlie. Thankfully, this time he really does shut up, as Hurley further impresses just how useless Jack thinks he is. You know, not that I'm not enjoying this, but it's really kind of odd how they went to so much trouble to get us to sympathize with Jack and White Rabbit, and just 2 episodes later they turn around and make him the straw man against Charlie. This is Charlie's cue to screw things up even more as he confronts Jack and yells loudly enough that the front of the cave collapses. And of course, Charlie just saves his own skin and leaves Jack to rot. I'm torn on how to feel about this, I really am. Hurley sends Charlie to get help.
And make sure you tell Kate!
Why? Seriously, why? Can anyone answer that without resorting to the whole 2 leads on a TV show must be soulmates thing? Saeed and Kate discuss their miraculous survival, which Saeed says couldn't possibly happen the way it did, and you can even factor in that they were all fatally wounded and the island healed them because most of them were still left with injuries. Charlie tells Michael, and we get the start of a running joke about 2 survivors named Scott and Steve that will end up being pretty cruel and then just nonsensical. Boone gets Shannon to take over bottle rocket duties, and Sawyer heads off to tell Kate. What could possibly go wrong there? Michael reveals that he was a construction worker and takes charge of figuring out where they can dig without making things worse. Walt is impressed, another good piece of development which will sadly go nowhere. Sawyer finds Kate and Saeed, but Kate is such a bitch that he doesn't tell her about Jack. I know this is supposed to seem wrong, but again, I have no clue why she, above everyone else, must be told about this. There's nothing she can do to help, and she already has an important job. Charlie tells Locke about the cave-in, but he's really there to ask for his drugs again. So Locke waxes philosophical about a moth cocoon, talking about how they're stronger and more useful than the flashier butterflies, but also need to be allowed to grow stronger on their own. See, it's a whole metaphor for Charlie and Liam, though I don't know how Locke knows about any of that. Our heroes manage to break a hole through the rubble, but Jack is pinned under a rock, and only Charlie is small enough to go in after him. There's your comforting situation for the day. Michael still tries to stop him just so he can look as selfless as possible. These guys really don't know when enough is enough with that. Kate decides that she'll set off the signal while Sawyer will turn on the whatever it is, which makes it kind of strange that he's not waiting in the tree with it. You'd think he'd want to be in a position to actually activate the thing when the time comes. Here's where they really start making Sawyer the Jacob to Jack's Edward, as both of them start moving in on this one woman for no reason that I can see. As far as I'm concerned, she's not even halfway good looking, and I'd like to think I have decent taste. The end result is Sawyer finally tells her about Jack, and she runs off, leaving him the impossible task of using both the bottle rocket and the whatever it is. Charlie manages to screw things up again, and only succeeds in trapping himself in the cave along with Jack. Michael tries to come up with a new plan, as they could easily kill Jack and Charlie if they dig out the wrong stuff. No great loss, I say, but that's thrown out when Kate shows up and only needs to ask why no one is digging to get everyone to start grabbing rocks at random. I wish I was making this up. Then, joy of joys, we're treated to an extended conversation between Jack and Charlie. Stick Kate in here and you'd have a trifecta of hell. They go on and on about everything we're supposed to have learned in the episode until finally Charlie puts an end to it by spotting a moth in the cave, indicating there's another way out. Soon they dig through the top of a hill and circle around to the rescue team. Congratulations, Kate, your wannabe heroic and actually idiotic gesture was completely pointless. The bottle rockets go off without a hitch, but then someone knocks Saeed unconscious. We'll find out who a bit later on, and I'm sure this comes as a surprise, but it's going to be stupid. I'll continue when we actually reach the reveal. Michael checks the rest of the caves and says they're fine. Well, that's convenient. Then Charlie makes his final request to Locke. Locke asks if he's sure. Hey, you made the rules. Don't go changing them now just because your puppet didn't work the way you thought he would. But in a moment that will come as a total shock to anyone who's never experienced a piece of entertainment in their lives, Charlie just wants the drugs so he can throw them into the fire. And the moth makes a final appearance because the symbolism wasn't obvious enough the first two times. My score for The Moth is 2 out of 10. It feels more like an anti-drug PSA than a Lost episode, and Charlie's flashback is somehow even more of a failure than the one from White Rabbit in getting us to sympathize with him. The envelicious symbolism of the moth is just ridiculous, especially the coincidence of Charlie being shown the cocoon just in time for a moth to lead him out of the cave, and then apparently be born from his heroine like a phoenix. The only saving grace here is the Saeed story, which still doesn't add much and will shortly be rendered pointless anyway.